Hi, Sagittarius. It's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology. Today I'm here to discuss the Taurus New Moon, and that is happening, excuse me, at 8:01 Universal Time on May 16th, and that is at 1:01 p.m. here in California. So please check for your own time around the world. All right, so this is going to be for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and welcome in. I have you right here on the ascendant Sagittarius if you would like to look at the chart, like if you're able, right? If not, I'm going to be explaining everything pretty well here. Um, at least I hope so here, right? And what is the new moon in Taurus about? So the new moon in general is about a hopeful time. It's about planting new seeds, new ideas. It can be a transition as well, right? And Taurus is associated with material comfort. That is what they are associated with for sure. And also well-being, possessions, and finance. Perseverance. They're very determined. Taurus it's a, the bull is representing Taurus, right? And also food and nature. And we have self-worth and values. Yeah, values are a big part, right, of Taurus, right? Because they are trying to maintain, or the focus is to establish material gain. So values weigh in on that big time, like what's really important to me so I can maintain or establish rather that well-being or that financial stability, etc. All right. Now, Venus is the ruler of the new moon. And so we see the sun and the moon right here supporting one another. Sure they are. And also is Mercury is here supporting the new moon. The MC is here too. And the MC is associated with career, really, and the authority that we rule over, that we kind of wield over our own lives, right? Can be authority and ambition. So we have this, the new moon here, it's in your sixth house of health and wellness and work and service, and also daily routines. This is the habits, but the habits that make our life really work, right? And that's why it is associated with health and wellness and work. And so that house is also the house of obligation, excuse me, of obstacles, right? Yeah, it's not the fun house. Fun house is, is the fifth house, right? And so it is. It's the house of, our not our determination, but our responsibilities and obligations. Okay, so we see the new moon there. And your values regarding work, Sagittarius, could be changing. You may have new ideas about your work or how to make your life better, how to make your life run better with different habits, new habits, right? Um, and so this can be about the money you earn. Taurus has a lot to do with the money we earn, for sure it is. And that sixth house as well. You might have new health routines. That's interesting because I'm a Sag and I do have new health routines. I definitely do, right? And so the sixth house can be where we refine things or we manage to have more self-discipline. Yeah, Virgo is the natural ruler of the sixth house, right? And, but Virgo is about refinement. So, the same way it can be about kind of perfection, it's always trying to make things better or it has to be right. Virgo wants to be right. And that's a good thing because that is how we refine things, right? Oh, this needs to be a little bit better, or I can make it better, things like that. So, and Venus here is also Venus is the ruler of the new moon. It sure is. And so Venus is ruling your sixth house, and it also rules your 11th house of future aspirations. So we see things that are changing about your work or about those sixth house themes, any of those, that have to do with the future, of course, your future aspirations. And Venus rules your house of hopes and wishes and gains, usually from the 10th house of career or status or your social roles. That is the 10th house. And so right now we have Venus in Gemini. That is in your opposite sign. So that's important. The opposite sign is always important. That's what the full moon, once a month, is speaking to us about, right? To basically merge the higher expression of the opposite sign. That's what's happening at the full moon. But today we're talking about the new moon. And so Venus is in Gemini. Gemini is your seventh house of partnerships, business, romantic, any type. It's the seventh house of where you create harmony and balance in your life. You could be trying to change up your daily routines or even your lifestyle, changes with work that are trying to bring you balance and harmony in your life. You may definitely be trying to do that right now. So because Venus is in that house, right? It's also in Gemini. And Gemini is our thinking, right? It sure is. So Venus will move into Cancer on the 18th, and that will be your eighth house of transformation. So a lot of things changing for you right there, right? That can be a money house too, because Scorpio's a natural ruler, and this is shared wealth. But shared wealth and shared assets also talk about the money we earn with an employer sometimes, inheritance, taxes, anything where there is another party involved, right? Could be your husband, but another party involved with your finance. Yeah. All right. And Venus is going to move into your eighth house also of intimate relationships. So, there's could be something that is going on there. The eighth house is where we look at things deeply. We really look beyond the veil, or beneath the veil, I should say. Yeah, beneath the veil. Where we're able to see like deep psychological things or very intimate things about ourselves, about others, but about anything really. It is a hidden house, the eighth house, where Venus will move into. So when we say hidden, you could be really understanding things that have been hidden for you, possibly, right? Now, Mercury is in Taurus, and interesting about that, they're in each other's homes. Mercury sits in the seventh house. Mercury is sitting in Venus's house, and Venus is sitting in Mercury's house. So once again, we're kind of, we're like, this is a theme here, basically. Yeah, there's an ongoing theme here about your values and, how and your analysis or your assessment, kind of your evaluation about your daily life, your work, your health, those things that are very important, even your habits, right? And Venus is making a sextile to both Mars and Chiron to your fifth house of self-expression. This is the house where you have fun, but this is the house where you shine, your talents. So there could be something, and your creative pursuits. Venus is kind of offering up, if you will, um, like an opportunity for you to like improve your, like to really be authentic with yourself, or to maybe to also step into new beginnings. Possibly Mars always wants a new beginnings with your creative pursuits. Something's healing for you in that house. This is a house where you act from the heart, okay? Where you're authentic, where you shine, as I was saying. But Chiron is here, and they're in a perfect conjunction in that house of self-expression, where this is also love and sex, that house too, right? But but this can, and that fifth house, it's something's you're like you're overcoming something. And with that overcoming something that could have been hindering your self-expression, it's hard to say. I don't have your own chart in front of me, but it can be related to love as well. Venus is about love. And Venus is making that sextile, but um, yeah, it can be about like how you get along with others, or especially with romantic relationships. It could be. So yeah, but something really good is there happening for you. And there could have been some fear for you. Chiron in the fifth house of self-expression can be fear. You're kind of, reluctant or hesitating to really kind of be authentic and really go after what you're supposed to, or where you shine, where you're talented, or what you're good at, right? For sure. And in your ninth house of purpose, let's see here. I want to see here a little bit about Mars. Yeah, and so there is a trine. This trine is coming from your 10th house of career and your ninth house of higher purpose. And that is, these trines are really, Mars is making a trine, and so is Chiron to your house of purpose and your house of career. And also, this is the house where you show yourself to the world, right? Your social role, the authority that you take over your own life, right? This is I'm doing this kind of, or but the South Node is there, and so you're leaving. There's this support for you to leave something behind that is no longer serving you. It could have been an attitude of lack, Sagittarius, right? I feel like I can speak freely here to you because you're a Sag, right? And I'm a Sag. So, or things that, it lack, everybody has, you're seeing it though. That's the point about it. You're seeing what has maybe either been hindering you or something like that. Yeah, for sure you are. So Jupiter, let's look at Jupiter here in your chart. Um, I think I've moved the ascendant now. Yeah, it's on Leo. Let's put it back to Sagittarius when I kind of refresh that. And here you are. And Jupiter is in your eighth house of transformation until it moves next month. It will move into Leo. Um, and Jupiter will move into Leo and uh, yeah, interesting. And that will be in your ninth house of purpose. Yeah. And in a sign that is about your creativity. Yeah, your talents. Yeah, interesting there. But for right now, we have Jupiter here and the moon, the sun and the moon are both making a sextile. So, this is in your eighth house of transformation, shared wealth. That eighth house, shared wealth doesn't always mean with your spouse. It means the money you earn or the money that, is kind of you receive possibly from just other parties, right? This can be anything, inheritance, taxes, bonuses, commissions. But Jupiter there is supporting that house of shared assets. So that's a really good thing. There is a transformation kind of going on here for you with the new moon. There sure is. And that has to do with those sixth house obstacles or your work, your habits, your routines, and potentially, also your health, right? And wellness. I always like to say wellness because we don't want to scare anybody here, right? No, we don't. And the sixth house is where you are refining things. So this is a time for refinement, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for joining me here. If you want a reading with me, check out the description box below. I'm also a psychic, done many, many psychic readings on my, with clients on my tarot channel, and that is listed below as well if you'd like to check that out. Although there's more focus, much more focus here on my astrology channel, but you can still get a reading, right? And also, I have many, many astrology readings on my own chart. I mean, on my own website, and that is below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell so you can be notified of my next upload. Thanks so much for joining me here, Sagittarius, and I'll see you in the next one.